Muichiro and you were once again fighting, both of your wooden swords whistling as they sliced through the air before meeting each other loudly. This time the battlefield, per se, was the forest. You were hiding one from another while trying to take the other down. You were growing tired since you spent nearly the entire day running around and swinging your sword, trying to take Muichiro down. Kitsu and Muichiro's crow were looking at your battle while the crow mocked you and goggled after a glorified Muichiro. The vexen carefully inspected the match in order to refrain from killing the annoying bird next to her. Kitsu knew you had an obvious advantage due to the gods being on your side. But you could also lose because of your experience and lack of cunning senses. She was quite thrilled to see how much you had grown, both of a fighter and as a person. It's no fair to use misbreathing than battles, you protested, sitting upon a tree branch in a small rest. Goodness, I pity the demons that have been or will be on your way. Well, Michiro-sama is the Mist Pillar, so of course Michiro's crow began bragging until Kitsu's tail slapped said bird in the face, soon silencing her. Quiet down. They can't concentrate with your words and your ugly sounds, Kitsu said, trying not to be so loud. Michiro soon appeared next to you, making you fall back. You managed to land on your feet, but he took you by surprise nonetheless. I am mist-breathing user, so... He shrugged once again, using his mist to disappear somewhere else. Oh, really? So, are we allowed to spar like that? You smiled dubiously. What can a goddess do against mist? I wonder. Michiro taunted, his voice echoing around the forest. You were such a child. You shook your head, still smiling. Right. You moved to said direction, Michiro's sword grazing yours. He soon changed directions, and he was about to land a straight front hit, but you quickly stopped him with your sword. Or maybe you're too strict. Muichiro stuck his tongue out before smiling abruptly at you. His taunts didn't last long, for you chased him back into his hiding. Is he not taking this battle seriously? Kitsu muttered. She's not worth his time, that's it, the crow sneered, soon being glared at Kitsu. What? I'm not yelling. You pouted before exhaling deeply. You slightly exhaled as you closed your eyes. Let me see what the mortal eye cannot see. Let me hear what the mortal ear cannot hear. Let me know a small proportion of what the human mind is unable to understand. Be my strength and bless me with your power. Nope! Muichiro leaped out of some bushes as he tried to attack, but you always dodge. There was something familiar about how you avoided his attacks, how you knew where he was going to strike, just by mere luck. I forgot to tell you, but I have been training under a hand of a mist breather, collector. You smirked proudly, your eyes still closed. God breathing. 8th form. There it is! Kitsu gasped, soon showing impatience and excitement, her tail wagging rapidly, hitting Michiro's crow ever so often. The crow sat away from the vixen, scoffing. Tormenta! Both you, Kitsu, and you... Oh, I already said that. So at the same time, in your minds, a visage became present. Muichiro would appear from behind the tree to your right side. He would then make a side hit to your left ankle, followed by a clean strike combat to your lower back, abdomen, and cleavage. Finally, he would corner you against a tree with both your swords and his against your back. Battle ended. You opened your eyes. Your surroundings were nothing but light colors, almost completely white. It was unnervingly, and it made you quite uneasy, but you remained calm. Left. It began. You leapt your sword, swinging below your feet. The strike combo was next. While mid-air as Michiro's sword was about to make contact with your back, you quickly dodged by tilting backwards. Your hands and feet clung to the ground. With a second going to waste, you stood back up, faced him, and hit him in the ribs. Said attack easily made Muichiro tremble and fall before you. Now the one being conquered between two swords was Muichiro. What was that about being too strict? You spoke proudly, blushing with confidence, and your blurry eye-colored eyes were still not back to normal. You could feel the exhilaration and intensity of victory coursing through you and showing no signs of leaving nor coming down. It made you want to race back to the dojo and then have another match. So you do have a fun side, misty eyes. Muichiro sneered, standing up. You used your sword to make him fall over his rear, letting out an oof. Now, and we're back to normal. Kitsu cheered, jumping and prancing around. She soon jumped to your arms, biting you softly. That was marvelous, splendid, so powerful and precise. Thank you, Kitsu. You smiled gently at your companion, who whimpered happily before resting her over your shoulders. The female crow was spouting curses at you for hitting Michiru too harshly, but oh well, it was a battle, wasn't it? Hurting Michiru-sama like that was unforgivable, reckless, rude. Michiru-sama, repent her as well. Said male was staring at you with wide, bright, wonder-filled eyes. His heart was beating quite fast and his face was red. You were so gorgeous. Even your eyes were blurry. You were like an eye-colored mist that the more one could walk through, the more they would get lost and the less they wanted to leave. So many mysterious it held within, just waiting for someone to find them. What should we eat today? You asked with a hum. Looking at nothing, it reminded you of him. A crave or a simi? Or a simi it is then, Michiru said with integrativeness, holding your hand and leading you away. Since you still can't see, I'll help you. Something felt strange about Michiru. You didn't need the gods to tell you, but you let it slide, thinking it was all because of your lack of this kind of interaction with other boys, aside from Tanjiro and Kayaka. As we all know, besides, Michiru was still young, meaning it's normal for someone like him to act this way. You're very kind, Michiru. Thanks, you said, giving Michiru a tender smile. It made his heart skip a beat. No matter how you looked, you were beautiful. The blue-eyed males, Crow, and Kitsu were fighting around the dojo. Why? Who knows? Females tend to fight for the strangest of reasons, just like the opposite gender. You were worried about your vision still not back to normal, but you decided to be patient about it. Careful with the door, careful, Michiru said softly, gently holding you by your forearms and guiding you around the dojo. He opened the kitchen door, letting you after him. Are you sure you want me to help? I know you're strong and independent, but I think you should let me prepare food this time. I am fine, Muichiro, you replied, walking towards the kitchen counter with your hands extended. I know my way around the kitchen just fine. That's the cauldron, Muichiro replied plainly. Although he was about to burst into a fit of laughter, you grunted before turning around and walking somewhere else. That's a wall. It went on about a minute or so before you could successfully reach the kitchen counter. Ashamed and awkward, you decided to leave the cooking up to him. Is there a showering area here? I really need a wash myself. There's a bath you can use, Michiru said, once again holding your forearms and guiding you to the room. He kept telling you to reassuring words as he helped you walk, also making sure you wouldn't fall or hit against something. You heard the door slide open before you were led inside some room. Here we are. Let me start up the fire. The water is already set. All right. You nodded, squinting your eyes as you looked around, your nose scrunched aside, yet cutely. The towels are those blue lights, right? Uh, Muichiro looked back, soon nodding. Yeah, those are towels. Muichiro stood up with a grunt before looking at you. If you need anything else, you can tell me. All right, thank you. You nodded, smiling calmly. You saw the moving blur slide the door open, leave, and then slide the door once more. You carefully waltzed towards the towel and grabbed them and setting them beside the wooden tub. Tanjiro and his family had one of these, too. Tanjiro. How was he doing? He would probably be panicking over you not answering none of his letters. You sighed, shaking your head hopelessly. Well, time to cleanse the body of my spiritual and physical self. Michio felt a cold, guilty shiver course down his spine, his hands trembling lightly and his breath hitched and huffed, barely making noise. He eagerly stared at eagerly stared at you from the small opening between the door and the doorframe, restraining himself from making Whoa! Restraining from yanking your clothes off. He could already imagine your soft and tender skin. Oh, how delightfully it smelled, would it be? He wondered, how would your skin feel against his touch? He fantasized. Oh, foolish, sinning boy, falling into temptations, yearning to feel your ever shiver in goosebumps, and to caress your all, holding you with such delicacy, gently in love. No, he didn't want to commit impurity against your body. He would never bring himself to defile you. Like a sick woman, those fingers made contact with Christ's fair frantics. Michio wanted to at least gaze your skin, believing his problems and troubles would disappear as if they were never there. As your clothes finally started to slide off, as your shoulders were slowly being exposed, Michio's vision rapidly blurred until he saw nothing but black darkness. He was blind. Michiro? You called. Do you need something? I know you're outside. Michiro panicked gently, trying to come out with an excuse. What was I making for dinner? I forgot. Hugh giggled through the side of the door, the blue-eyed heart rapidly beating. My, you're very forgetful. We were making surimi. Oh my god, ricey. I think that's how I say it. I saying words wrong. I'll repeat it out loud so you don't forget. Thanks, Yin, Michio said, standing up in great struggle and walking away from the bathroom door, his shivers and ragged breaths never easing. Order maisi. Tonkitsu, Michio beamed, setting a plate of pork and noodles and rice in front of you. At least 5 minutes have passed since you finished bathing, and yet at least 10 minutes have passed since you recovered your vision. You delightfully needed that bath. There was this peace, freshness, and wonderfulness that indulged you fully. A peace that only could be expressed after a bath. Michiro looked at you eagerly, expressing you laughing at how funny his behavior and pampered him once. It happened. He got lost in the sound of your laughter, admiring your bright, kind face. It was supposed to be ororimi. Nonetheless, you did a great job. It's delicious. Thanks. Michiro smiled and began eating, as both of you watched Kitsu deliver letters back to Tanjiro and the others. You hummed hardly and sat down at the deck. He's still worried? Michiro asked, sitting next to you. Definitely. I hope the letter I wrote will help Tanjiro ease down. He looked at the trees and bushes near the dojo. Kayaka said that Zenitsu isn't recovering but getting worse. No matter how strong the medicines are, his condition is poor. Neither death even. Can you cure him? Michiro asked, looking at you. I don't think I'm even allowed to do so, you replied. I am still human after all. Michiro hummed, looking at the moon intently. I don't think you're human. Huh? You turned your head at him. Smart, kind-hearted, brave, determined, curious. Oh, courageous. I've never met a person as extraordinary as you, Michiro said, facing you. His eyes shimmered brightly under the night sky. Such purity and innocence he held. And if there is no one in this world like you, then that makes you a goddess. Your heart raced rapidly at his words, and your face was pure red. His words pierced your heart, but not in a negative manner. Oh, the contrary, it made you happy and blissful. We should sleep, you said, standing up as you tucked your hair behind your ears. Tomorrow I shall meet the next pillar. Oh, right. Michiro's side smile, almost scoffing with disapproval. He let himself fall over his messy futon, not even changing into his pajamas. Good night. Good night, Michiyo-san, you replied before going to your side of the room. That night, as you slept, Michiyo stared at the ceiling, deep in thought. You were to leave him in less than a day. If only he could have more time. Even just an extra hour would be satisfied. A second, a minute, a moment. All those memorable and wonderful moments with you would soon come to an end, like a baby bird that knows how to fly and is ready to leave the nest. That's how Michiru saw that situation. But instead of letting you spread your wings and soar to the sky, he wanted to keep you, to have you in a cage to admire your chirps and beauty as many times as he wanted. But that baby bird wasn't as free as Michiru thought. It already belonged to someone else. Someone who, like a spoiled child, would be overwhelmed. The baby bird, said person showered the baby bird with love, unaware of the fact that the bird was now drowning. That the bird was on the verge of death. Unaware that it was innocent and good in his eyes was actually twisted and into spectral thing for the baby bird. Michiru needed to save you from the claws of the spoiled kid, for said infant didn't approve nor actually loved you. The poor, small, baby bird. Whoa, guess what? It's time for Taisho Era Secret. 20 chapters in is the first Taisho Era Secret? Wow! But did you know? Yin's never knew about medicine. She barely even knew how it works. It was Tamio who gave Yin some of her old medicine books. It's been rumored a lot Kayaka likes Hanao. Some say that they saw Kayaka giving Hanao a flower crown. Others say it was a flower from Shinobu's garden that was plucked from a petal to root. Anyways, I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye, and I love you all.